Good morning to all of you. Welcome back to the Namaste experience on this Monday morning, the last Monday of the year 2024. What a year it has been. What an amazing experience it has been to dive deeper and deeper into this infinite ocean of bliss and to bring up treasures that are so profound that they almost don't seem to belong in this realm, in this world, treasures that come from the very, very core of the reality that is forever real within each one of us. And so today and tomorrow, these last 2 days of the year, I thought it would be nice to revisit some of the real core lessons that we have shared throughout this last year, 2024, so that we can use them as a launch pad or a board to jump into the experience of now that we will know in 2025. Of course, we know that time itself is a construct, let alone dates and years, but they are constructs that we can use if we choose to allow them to awaken that reality within us. And so I went through my phone, which is where I usually keep my little notes or things that I write before session. And I thought it would be nice to pick one of them, which I did, that I think forms the real core of everything we teach here. Because if you notice, we pretty much say the same things every day. Really, all we're saying in different ways are the context of that prayer that we share at the beginning of each session, the prayer for the awakened. All we're really doing is elaborating the core and sharing the very essence of that prayer. And this is going to be no difference. In fact, the first line, I'll share that first before I go through the whole thing. The first line is this: give yourself wholly to love, the love that gives itself wholly to you. Give yourself wholly to love. I think it's beautiful that the word holy, Wholly, is the same in the way it sounds and feels to the word holy, Holy. To give yourself wholly, completely, totally to the love that is your very essence and core. That same love which gives itself wholly and completely to you every moment. I think this is really the key of this awakening that we are forever engaged in. It is forever engaged within us. And when we turn all our attention toward that engagement, then we step into an experience and a feeling that is so unlike the world that we've claimed. A world of changing forms, a world of never consistent alignment, always changing and moving and disrupting. But now we realize that there's nothing truly disruptive within. So, that being said, let me read this entire paragraph, and we're going to use this as our jumping off point today for 2025. Once again, give yourself wholly to love, the love that gives itself wholly to you. From this intimate space, all spaces are filled. And from this eternal union, all things are united as one. You are that love. And God is that love. And no space exists between you and your expression of that love. It is this experience, this expressive outpouring of that love, that you have longed for. And though you were unaware of its eternal flow, there was never a time in which it was unaware of you. I love that. Even though there are times in which we get so caught up in the ego's dream of separation that we forget that eternal flow, there's never a time in which it forgets us. That is one of the most beautiful things we could ever hear and know and realize. The changeless nature of divinity rests within you and all creation. And now you have the eyes to recognize this holy resting place. Look around and see what can finally be seen, and hear the voice that calls for you to awaken. Claim it now. Claim it just as it forever claims you. So going back to that first line once more, give yourself wholly to love, the love that gives itself wholly to you. In this way, we participate in the only real game that's being played. The only game that's really being played is this eternal outpouring of grace. And we can choose, this is really the only choice we have. We can either choose to participate in that, to allow that outpouring of grace to reveal who I am, or not. I can choose to ignore it. I can choose to deny it. I can choose to create a whole world where grace seems to be an impossible dream rather than the dream of the ego being the impossible dream. You see that? You have a choice about what the impossible dream is. Until now, within this egoic frame, we've chosen to believe that grace and the outpouring of this love that's being described today is impossible. It's not consistent. And yet love is perfectly consistent when we allow ourselves to be perfectly consistent within that love. And this is why it says, give yourself wholly, completely to love. Because love is always giving itself wholly to you. That's all love does. That's all love is. An eternal outpouring of itself. And when we allow ourselves to be in alignment with that outpouring, we realize that we are the same as that that outpouring of love is who I am. And then the eternal experience of I am becomes the only reality that I know, the only experience that I know, that I understand, that I can flow into, and then all things align. Even in this world where we still find ourselves, sure, we still find ourselves for a moment in a body, interacting, sharing, doing whatever it is we're doing. We find ourselves doing that, but still the outpouring of that grace becomes far more real than all of it. We feel it, we know it, there's a resonance which where two vibrations come together, right? That's what a resonance is. When two things align as one. And that's what's happening to you now. You are aligning with grace. You are in resonance with love. Now, I'm sure that if we had each and every single person here in this room right now share some aspect of the shift that has taken place in you, especially if you're one who has been attending these sessions nearly every day. I'm sure we could all go through and talk about all the different shifts and changes that have happened to us during this past year. And yet, it's just the tip of the iceberg. We're just beginning this journey as we affirm love, as we affirm the reality that is forever real. So remember, give yourself wholly to the love that gives itself wholly to you. Come into resonance with that love. Dive into that infinite ocean of grace. There are treasures at the bottom of this ocean. All we need to do is to allow ourselves to sink deeper and deeper into the real. And then we realize that the real reality itself has always been within us, now and forever. So, with that, I'll turn it over to Vicky and let her take it from there, and we'll see where we go. Good morning, Vicky.
Good morning, Brother James. Good morning, everybody. And happy, blessed ending to an era in our lives as we step into the next year, that we can let everything that we don't have wholly invested with love, let it go. Simply let it go. If we can accept ourselves and love ourselves enough to let ourselves be with whatever experience we're having, whatever it is, then what isn't of love has to dissolve. It's so simple, and we can witness it if we let it. So, as you were speaking, it just reminded me this whole passage on giving ourselves wholly to love. What comes up are the places that we give ourselves partially to in other areas. What we have for self-interest, what we have for what we think is best for someone else, what we're invested in. And what happens is all of these interests start just melting away. Because if love trumps everything, then being wholly invested in love allows the goal we were thinking we were going to find come to not just us, but to everyone we're in communion with. We have like an umbrella of grace when we devote ourselves to love. And what happens is it becomes so effortless, because one of the best lines in the Course in Miracles is, what isn't love is a call for love. What isn't love is someplace where I'm projecting self-hatred. And the end of it, the end of projecting, is the beginning of grace, living under grace. So if like when James was talking about resonance, to come into resonance in a most difficult situation where people are flying and crashing and whatever might be going on, it's not to figure out what is going to solve this, who is going to benefit, how can I be helpful. It's to be. This is about experiential being, a presence of love. And how are we a presence of love? By putting all of our attention, body, mind, and soul, holding a thought of love, joining in love, but essentially answering our own call for love. It's always coming from us. That's another fundamental principle. So, what isn't love is our own call for love. And if we want to come into resonance, we disengage from the continued projection by accepting our own feelings, accepting how we're experiencing the moment, even if we're wildly upset or lost or angry or hurt or whatever it is. Loving ourselves enough not to try to even fix ourselves, never mind the situation, and remembering with our mind and our heart, our commitment. This is a commitment. It's a willingness to commit to the one power. There's one power. There aren't many powers in the world of disease and wars and economics and everything else. There's one power, and that's the power of love. So if we commit, I see that because we've all been through battles because we've always been battling ourselves. Not difficult if we can accept it. We're tempted to believe in the projection. That's all. And this is just saying, don't believe it. It's all a cartoon. This is Toontown, all of it. Good witch, bad witch, it's all a cartoon. When we commit to only love, we We let that be our only goal with our consciousness. Even if our emotions are raging, oh, this is terrible. Look what they've done to me. Look how selfish they are. Look at this. Look at that. No, 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 no. I'm committed to love. Let me be the answer for love by being the presence of love, body, mind, and soul. So if my body is sick or raging, if my mind is frantic, if everything is going crazy, I can stop. This is that moment. This is the holy moment, a holy instant, and say, okay, I got to remember. What do I have to remember? Love. That's all. One thing. You don't have to remember a whole litany, just one thing. Oh my gosh, how would love work here? I would be gentle with myself. Love myself, tender. Okay, okay, you want to sit and cry, you want to jump on your bed, you want to, hit a pillow. Love myself. Offer love. Be the presence of love and the presence of letting go. I don't know what to do with anything. That I don't know mind. I don't know. But I am committed to love. What is not love is a call for love. And I am here wherever I find myself in time because I am the bringer of the answer, and the answer is love by my willingness to love. Not that I do it perfectly if I'm having a rageful fit, but my willingness to remember I don't know how to do this, but I will come into love with my willingness and my mind and my heart until like when you're playing music or you're tuning an instrument until all of a sudden it comes into harmony. And it has to come into harmony because we were the dissonant energy. We were the our self-interest. Oh, this should be this way. This one should do it that way. As soon as we let those ideas go, that's what dissonance is. When we let them go, I don't know how to love. I don't know how to love. Show me. That's a deeper surrender into one power, one presence of being that love. It's a collapse into love. It's an infant collapsing into the mother's arms. That's the kind of wholehearted and whole dependency on love that we're being called to. And we can bring this new year in with this experience that will lift energetically, that resonance that will allow the other interests to dissolve, brings our energies and our frequency into a higher realm where we live not just in love, but in joy. And love and joy have no opposite because they live in the oneness of one power of love, which is what we already are. So it's simply letting go of the other interests, being willing. This is the word willing again, to love no matter how crazy we find ourselves or each other, and trusting in that. Gratitude, trust, love. They're the resonance. Those are the pieces that bring us into natural harmony with grace until there's nothing operating in us or through us but love and grace. And that's what brings time in the twinkling of an eye, under the law of all, under the law of love, instead of under the law of separation and loss and death and the rest of it. So, welcome everybody. Welcome today and tomorrow, especially. Welcome everything that happens and greet it with love. Greet it with the willingness to love. Okay, Brother James, California,
Mm,
there you go.
beautiful.
Thank
It
you.
just reminds me of the very core of everything we've shared this year. Only love, only God, only right now. So, with that in mind, Calico, why don't you go ahead and wrap us up?
Oh, this is great. I was really just in contemplation a lot yesterday about this whole concept of love. And this has been coming on for a while. This is not new. I don't have a clue what love is. I know what it is to love a friend. I know what it is to love a parent. I know what it is to love a special food or a pet. But that's not the love that is taking me to be God. And so I'm just exploring it and just questioning. Every morning I ask for some things, and one is I want love, kindness, gratitude, and compassion for myself that will allow me to extend that to all. Now, but I say that, and when I say that, it kind of lands kind of flat. Well, do I love myself? Well, I'm working on it, you know. I mean, there are times it's a challenge. It's more challenging than anyone else. And that I feel is actually great that I'm that close to it, that I'm questioning whether I love myself. Because if I can say I love myself, there's nothing else on the planet that I can't love. So, it's just yeah, I just keep dropping deeper into contemplation with these concepts. And I know that I love God. That's really, I've loved God my whole life. My whole life I've loved God. And that's as close as I can get to it. And then it's applying that love of God to me. And then sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It depends. If I'm feeling like the body isn't doing well, then I'm not loving myself. And it's like, and then it really means I have to, take to my bed, drop deeper into this concept of why can't I love myself no matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like, just love it. And it works sometimes, and sometimes it's a little bit more difficult. So I must say, I feel like there's a resolution coming through for me to really just embrace the love that I am as God. And I'm working on it, and it's just bringing up a lot of questions. And first one is, what the hell is love?
Mhm.
Because I don't know what love is. I know what special love is. I've got lots of special loves, but I don't know this concept of all-encompassing love is. And so that's what I'm working on. It's kind of, it'll come together hopefully sooner or later.
Mm.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Calico. That's what we're all working on. There's a song that from the early 80s that some of you may remember. It's a Foreigner song. I want to know what love is. I want you to show me. And that's what we're doing here. We're showing each other through the pure reflection of love itself. We're reflecting that to and from each other. I look at you and I make a choice to see only love. And then suddenly I can understand what it really is. Not the special love that Calico just talked about, where I take one person and say, okay, I'm gonna set you aside and you're gonna be the symbol of love. No, there is no symbol of love. Love is not a symbol. Love is an eternal reality. Love is right now. And it's what we're called to experience right now. I want to know what love is, and I want you to show me. So, thank you, everyone. Before we go, I just want to bring special attention to 5 people who on Wednesday are going to be knowing what love is through a joined experience that we're going to share for 3 months, for 90 days. We have 5 people who are beginning the Enlightenment Partner Program. And so I just want to say their names so that we can hold them in our hearts these last couple of days of the year. We have Deborah, we have Linda, we have Dia, we have Bernadette, and we have Isabel. I invite you to hold these 5 people in your heart as they begin this deep dive into knowing what love really is. They're going to be blessed to 5 days a week have an actual intimate one-on-one conversation with Vicky. I'm sure that's going to be great. They're going to be able to use these lessons to dive even deeper every single day until they find only love, only God, only now. So hold them in your heart. Once again, it's Deborah, Linda, Dia, Bernadette, and Isabel. And so we now go off to share this love that we have expressed here this morning. And in order to do that, we say together, Amen, Amen, Amen y punto. Many blessings to you all. Have a great day.